Shalom and good morning. Today we're reading in 1 Kings chapter 15. And in the 18th year of sovereign Jeroboam's son of Nebat, Abiam became sovereign over Yehudah. He reigned 3 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Maacah, the granddaughter of Absalom. And he walked in all the sins of his father, which he had done before him. And his heart was not perfect to Yahu'ah his Elohim, as was the heart of his father Dod. But for Dod's sake, Yahu'ah his Elohim gave him a lamp in Jerusalem, to raise up his son after him, and by establishing Jerusalem. For Dod did what was right in the eyes of Yahu'ah, and did not turn aside from all that he commanded him all the days of his life, except in the matter of Uriyahu the Hittite. And there was fighting between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all the days of his life. And the rest of the acts of Abiam and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Yehudah? And there was fighting between Abiam and Jeroboam. So Abiam slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of Dod. And Asa, his son, reigned in his place. And in the 20th year of Jeroboam, sovereign of Yashrael, Asa became sovereign over Yehudah. And he reigned 41 years in Jerusalem. And his grandmother's name was Maacah, the granddaughter of Absalom. And Asa did what was right in the eyes of Yahu'ah, as his father Dod had done, and put away the cult prostitutes from the land, and removed all the idols that his fathers had made. And he also removed Maacah, his grandmother, from being sovereigness mother, because she had made an abominable image for Asherah. And Asa cut down her abominable image and burned it by the Wadi Kidron. But the high places were not removed. However, Asa's heart was perfect with Yahu'ah all his days. And he brought into the house of Yahu'ah the set-apart items of his father, and his own set-apart items, silver and gold in utensils. And there was fighting between Asa and Baasha, sovereign of Yashrael, all their days. And Baasha, sovereign of Yashrael, came up against Yehudah and built Ramah, to keep anyone from going out or coming in to Asa, sovereign of Yehudah. And Asa took all the silver and gold that was left in the treasuries of the house of Yahu'ah and the treasuries of the sovereign's house, and gave them into the hand of his servants. And sovereign Asa sent them to Ben-Hadad, son of Temaron, son of Hezon, sovereign of Aram, who dwelt in Damascus, saying, Let there be a covenant between you and me, as there was between my father and your father. Look, I have sent you a present of silver and gold. Come, break your covenant with Baasha, sovereign of Yashrael, so that he withdraws from me. And Ben-Hadad listened to sovereign Asa, and sent the commanders of his armies against the cities of Yashrael, and struck Leon and Dan, and Abel Baeth Maacah, and all Kinnereth, with all the land of Naphtali. And when it came to be, when Baasha heard it, that he stopped building Ramah and remained in Tirsha. Then sovereign Asa summoned all Yehudah, none was exempted, And they took away the stones and timber of Ramah, which Baasha had used for building. And with them sovereign Asa built Geba of Benjamin and Mishpah. And the rest of the acts of Asa in all his might, in all that he did, and the cities which he built, are they not written in the books of the annals of the sovereigns of Yehudah? But in the time of his old age he was diseased in his feet. So Asa slept with his fathers, and he was buried with his fathers in the city of Daud, his father. And Jehoshaphat, his son, reigned in his place. And Nadab, son of Jeroboam, became sovereign over Yashrael in the 2nd year of Asa, sovereign of Yehudah, and he reigned over Yashrael 2 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yahu'ah, and walked in the way of his father, and in his sin, by which he had made Yashrael sin. Then Baasha, son of Ahiyahu, the house of Yishakar, conspired against him, and Baasha struck him at Gibbethon, which belonged to the Philistines. For Nadab and all Yashrael had laid siege to Gibbethon. And Baasha killed him in the 3rd year of Asa, sovereign of Yehudah, and reigned in his place. And it came to be, when he became sovereign, that he struck all the house of Jeroboam. He did not leave to Jeroboam anyone breathing, until he had destroyed him according to the word of Yahu'ah, which he had spoken by his servant Ahiyahu the Shilonite. Because of the sins of Jeroboam, which he had sinned, and by which he had made Yashrael sin, because of his provocation with which he had provoked Yahu'ah, Eluah of Yashrael. And the rest of the acts of Nadab, in all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Yashrael? And there was fighting between Asa and Baasha, sovereign of Yashrael, all their days. Pardon me. In the 3rd year of Asa, sovereign of Yehudah, Baasha, son of Ahiyahu, became sovereign over all Yashrael in Tirsah, and reigned 24 years. And he did evil in the eyes of Yahu'ah, and walked in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin by which he had made Yashrael sin. Chapter 16. Then the word of Yahu'ah came to Yahu, son of Hanai, against Baasha, saying, Because I raised you up out of the dust, and made you ruler over my people Yashrael, but you walked in the way of Jeroboam, and made my people Yashrael sin, to provoke me with their sins. See, I am going to sweep away Baasha and his house, and shall make your house like the house of Jeroboam the son of Nebat. Anyone belonging to Baasha who dies in a city, the dogs eat, and anyone belonging to him who dies in a field, the birds of the Shemayim eat. And the rest of the acts of Baasha, what he did in his might, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Yashrael? So Baasha slept with his fathers, and was buried in Tirtash, and his son Elah reigned in his place. Moreover, the word of Yahu'ah came by the prophet Yahu, son of Hanani, against Baasha and his house, because of all the evil that he did in the eyes of Yahu'ah, in provoking him with the work of his hands, in being like the house of Jeroboam, and because he struck them. In the 26th year of Asa, sovereign of Yehuda, Elah, son of Baasha, began to reign over Yashrael in Tirsha 2 years. And his servant Zimri, commander of half his chariots, conspired against him as he was in Tirsha, drinking himself drunk in the house of Arsa, who was over his house in Tirsha. Then Zimri came in and struck him and killed him in the 27th year of Asa, sovereign of Yehuda, and reigned in his place. And it came to be, when he began to reign, as soon as he was seated on his throne, that he struck all the household of Baasha. He did not leave him one male, neither of his relatives nor of his friends. So Zimri destroyed the entire house of Baasha according to the word of Yahu'ah, which he spoke against Baasha by Yahu the prophet. For all the sins of Baasha and the sins of Elah his son, by which they had sinned and by which they had made Yashrael sin, in provoking Yahu'ah Eluah of Yashrael with their worthlessness. And the rest of the acts of Elah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Yashrael? In the 27th year of Asa, sovereign of Yehuda, Zimri reigned 7 days in Tirsha, and the people were encamped against Gibbethon, which belonged to the Philistines. And the people who were encamped heard it, said, Zimri has conspired and also struck the sovereign. So all the Yashrael set up Omri, the commander of the army, to reign over Yashrael that day in the camp. And Omri went up, and all Yashrael with him, from Gibbethon, and they besieged Tirsha. And it came to be, when Zimri saw that the city was captured, that he went into a high place of the sovereign's house, and burned the sovereign's house down upon himself with fire, and died, because of the sins which he had sinned in doing evil in the eyes of Yahuwah, in walking in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin which he had committed to make Yashrael sin. In the rest of the acts of Zimri, in the conspiracy he made, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Yashrael? Then the people of Yashrael were divided into 2 parts. Half of the people followed Tibni, son of Ganath, to make him reign, and half followed Omri. But the people who followed Omri were stronger than the people who followed Tibni, son of Ganath. And Tibni died, and Omri reigned. In the 31st year of Asa, sovereign of Yehuda, Omri became sovereign over Yashrael, and reigned 12 years. He reigned 6 years in Tirsha. And he bought the hill of Shamaron from Shemer for 2 talents of silver, and built on the hill, and called the name of that city which he built Shamaron, after the name of Shemer, owner of the hill. And Omri did evil in the eyes of Yahuwah, and did evil more than all those before him, and walked in the ways of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, and in his sin by which he did made Yashrael sin, provoking Yahuwah Eluah of Yashrael with their worthlessness. And the rest of the acts of Omri which he did, and the might that he attained, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Yashrael? So Omri slept with his fathers, and was buried in Shamron, and Ahab his son reigned in his place. In the 38th year of Asa, a sovereign of Yehuda, Ahab, son of Omri, became sovereign over Yashrael. And Ahab, son of Omri, reigned over Yashrael in Shamaron 22 years. And Ahab, son of Omri, did evil in the eyes of Yahu'ah more than all those before him. And it came to be as though it had been a light matter for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, that he took as wife Isabel, or Jezebel, the daughter of Ethabal, sovereign of the Tistonians. And he went and served Baal and bowed himself to it, and raised up a slaughter place for Baal in the house of Baal, which he had built in Shamaron. And Ahab made an Asherah. And Ahab did more to provoke Yahu'ah of Yashrael than all the sovereigns of Yashrael before him. In his days, Hayal of Baeth El built Jericho. He laid its foundation at the cost of Abram, his firstborn, and at the cost of his youngest son, Segub. He set up its gates, according to the word of Yahu'ah, which he had spoken through Yahusha, son of Nun. Chapter 17. And Eliyahu, the Tishbite of the inhabitants of Gilead, said to Ahab, As Yahu'ah Eluah of Yashrael lives, before whom I stand, there shall be no dew or rain these years, except at my word. And the word of Yahu'ah came to him, saying, Go away from here, and turn eastward, and hide by the Wadi Kerith, which flows into the Jordan. And it shall be that you drink from the stream, and I shall command the ravens to feed you there. And he went and did according to the word of Yahu'ah, for he went and dwelt in the Wadi Kerith, which flows into the Jordan. And the ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the stream. And it came to be after a while that the stream dried up, because there had been no rain in the land. Then the word of Yahu'ah came to him, saying, Rise up, go to Sarphath, which belongs to Sidon, and dwell there. See, I have commanded a widow there to sustain you. And he rose up and went to Saraphath, and came to the gate of the city, and saw a widow there gathering sticks. And he called and said to her, Please bring me a little water in a vessel to drink. And as she was going to get it, he called and said to her, Please bring me a piece of bread in your hand. And she said, As Yahu'ah your Eluah lives, I do not have bread, and only a handful of flour in a bin, and a little oil in a jar. And see, I am gathering a couple of sticks, and shall go in and prepare it for myself and my son, and we shall eat it and die. And Eliyahu said to her, Do not fear, go and do as you have said, but make me a small cake from it first, and bring it to me, and afterward make some for yourself and your son. For thus said Yahu'ah Eluah of Yashrael, The bin of flour shall not be used up, nor the jar of oil run dry, until the day Yahu'ah sends rain on the earth. So she went and did according to the word of Eliyahu, and he and he and her household ate for many days. The bin of flour was not used up, nor the jar of oil run dry, according to the word of Yahu'ah which he spoke by Eliyahu. And after these events it came to be that the son of the woman who owned the house, became sick, and his sickness was very severe, until there was no breath left in him. And she said to Eliyahu, "What have I to do with you, O man of Yahu'ah? Have you come to me to bring my crookedness to be remembered, and to kill my son?" And he said to her, "Give me your son." So he took him from her arms and took him to the upper room where he was dwelling, and laid him on his own bed, and cried out to Yahuwah and said, "O Yahuwah, my Yahuwah, have you also brought evil on the widow with whom I am sojourning to kill her son?" And he stretched himself out on the child 3 times, and cried out to Yahuwah and said, "O Yahuwah, my Yahuwah, I pray, let the life of this child come back to him." And Yahuwah heard the voice of Eliyahu, and the life of the child came back to him, and he lived. And Eliyahu took the child and brought him down from the upper room into the house, and gave him to his mother. And Eliyahu said, "See, your son lives." And the woman said to Eliyahu, "Now by this I know that you are a man of Yahuwah, and that the word of Yahuwah is in your mouth, or in your mouth is truth." Chapter 18. And after many days it came to be that the word of Yahuwah came to Eliyahu in the 3rd year, saying, "Go present yourself to Ahab, and I give rain on the earth." Thereupon Eliyahu went to present himself to Ahab, and the scarcity of food in Shamron was severe. And Ahab had called Obadiah, who was over his house. Now Obadiah feared Yahuwah exceedingly. And it came to be, while Jezebel cut down the prophets of Yahuwah, that Obadiah had taken 100 prophets and hidden them 50 to a cave, and had fed them with bread and water. And Ahab had said to Obadiah, "Go into the land to all the springs of water, and to all the wadis. It could be that we find grass to keep the horses and mules alive, and not have any livestock cut off." And they divided the land between them to pass over it. Ahab went one way by himself, and Obadiah went another way by himself. And as Obadiah was on his way, then see, Eliyahu met him. And he recognized him, and fell on his face, and said, "Is that you, my master Eliyahu?" And he answered him, "It is I. Go, say to your master, Eliyahu is here." And he said, "What have I sinned, that you are giving your servant into the hand of Ahab to kill me? As Yahuwah your Yahuwah lives, there is no nation or reign where my master has not sent to look for you." And when they said, "He is not here," he made the reign or nation swear that they could not find you. And now you say, "Go say to your master, Eliyahu is here." And it shall be, as soon as I am gone from you, that the Spirit of Yahuwah takes you away to a place I do not know. And I shall come to report to Ahab. And when he does not find you, he shall kill me. But I, your servant, have feared Yahuwah from my youth. Was it not reported to my master what I did when Isabel killed the prophets of Yahuwah? How I hid 100 men of the prophets of Yahuwah, 50 to a cave, and fed them with bread and water? And now you say, "Go say to my master, Eliyahu is here. Then he shall kill me." And Eliyahu said, "As Yahuwah of hosts lives, before whom I stand, I shall indeed show myself to him today. Obadiah then went to meet Ahab, and informed him, and Ahab went to meet Eliyahu. And it came to be, when Ahab saw Eliyahu, that Ahab said to him, Is that you, O disturber of Yashrael? And he answered, I have not disturbed Yashrael, but you in your father's house, in that you have forsaken the commands of Yahu'ah, and you have followed the Baals. And now send and gather all Yashrael to me on Mount Carmel, the 450 prophets of Baal, and the 400 prophets of Asherah, who eat at Isabel's table. Ahab then sent for all the children of Yashrael and gathered the prophets on Mount Carmel. And Eliyahu came to all the people and said, How long would you keep hopping between two opinions? If Yahu'ah is Eluah, follow him, and if Baal, follow him. But the people answered him not a word. And Eliyahu said to the people, I alone am left a prophet of Yahu'ah, but the prophets of Baal are 450 men. Now let them give us 2 bulls, and let them choose 1 bull for themselves, and cut it into pieces, and lay it on the wood, but set no fire. And I prepare the other bull, and shall lay it on the wood, but set no fire. And you shall call on the name of your mighty one, and I call on the name of Yahu'ah. And the Eluah who answers by fire, he is Eluah. So all the people answered and said, The word is good. And Eliyahu said to the prophets of Baal, Choose 1 bull for yourselves, and prepare it first, for you are many, and call on the name of your mighty one, but set no fire. So they took the bull which was given them, and prepared it, and called on the name of Baal from morning until even until noon, saying, O Baal, answer us. And there was no voice, and no one answered. And they leaped about the slaughter place which they had made. And it came to be at noon that Eliyahu taunted them, and said, Cry aloud, for he is a mighty one. He is meditating, or he is busy, or he is on a journey, or it could be that he is asleep and has to be awakened. And they cried aloud and cut themselves according to their ruling with knives and spears until the blood gushed out from them. And it came to be when midday was past that they prophesied until the time of bringing the evening offering. But there was no voice, and no one answered, and no one paying attention. Then Eliyahu said to all the people, Come closer to me. And all the people came closer to him. And he prepared the slaughter place of Yahu'ah that was broken down. And Eliyahu took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, to whom the word of Yahu'ah had come, saying, Yashrael is your name. And with the stones he built a slaughter place in the name of Yahu'ah. And he made a trench around the slaughter place large enough to hold 2 seahs of seed. And he arranged the wood and cut the bull in pieces, and laid it upon the wood, and said, Fill your jars with water, and pour it on the ascended offering on the wood. Then he said, Do it a second time. And they did it a second time. And he said, Do it a third time. And they did it a third time. And the water flowed around the slaughter place, and he filled the trench with water too. And it came to be at the time of bringing the evening offering that Eliyahu the prophet came near and said, Yahu'ah Eluah of Abraham, Yishak, and Yashrael. Let it be known today, you are Eluah in Yashrael, and I, your servant, have done all these matters by your word. Answer me, O Yahuwah, answer me, and let this people know that you are Yahuwah Eluah, and you shall turn their hearts back to you again. Then the fire of Yahuwah fell and consumed the ascending offering, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and it licked up the water that was in the trench. And all the people saw and fell on their faces and said, Yahuwah, he is the Eluah, Yahuwah, he is the Eluah. And Eliyahu said to them, Seize the prophets of Baal, do not let one of them escape. So they seized them, and Eliyahu brought them down to the Wadi Kishon and slew them there. And Eliyahu said to Ahab, Go up, eat and drink because of the sound of the noise of rain. And Ahab went up to eat and drink. And Eliyahu went up to the top of Carmel, and he bowed down on the ground and put his face between his knees, and said to his servant, Go up, please, look closely toward the sea. So he went up and looked closely and said, Not a speck. And 7 times he said, Go again. And it came to be the 7th time that he said, See, a little cloud as small as a man's hand is coming out of the sea. And he said, Go up and say to Ahab, Hitch up and go down before the rain stops you. And in the meantime, it came to be that the Shemaims became black with clouds and wind, and there was a heavy rain, while Ahab rode and went to Yisrael. And the hand of Yahuwah was on Eliyahu, and he girded up his loins and ran ahead of Ahab to the entrance of Yisrael.